Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be going over some cards that I think are going to be cards to maybe look out for, cards that are currently in the game right now that could be really useful in the next iteration within Uprising. Now, for these cards, I just want to kind of give like a little background. Is this is just my thoughts on where I think, based off where I think the heroes are going, and kind of what I think what cards might be useful. We might come up 2 months from now and I was completely off, or maybe some of them will prove to be useful. But this is basically my take on what I think each like mainstay class or like different heroes are going to be able to be used very well. And if you're a newer player, this is my opinion. Like if you're going to pick up some cheaper cards that might prove to be useful in the later set, and this is what I would go with. I kind of went by class, sort of. I went Ninja, I did Illusionist, and I did Ranger. I did not do Wizard because I think Wizard with Eastlander, I think her new ice cards are just going to be the go-tos. Like, there's no like key card in Wizard cards that I think you should definitely pick up. A lot of the blues are going to be really important, right, because of her hero ability. But there's no one card in particular, right? If you already kind of play her, you probably have the cards you need. So there's not like any one specific card. But if someone would like me to kind of give a suggestion, you can leave a comment below, and I'll try to give my suggestion on it. But starting with Illusionist, I tried to stick to red cards. I don't know a whole lot about the new Illusionist Jeremiah, like as far as like my thoughts or spoilers. We've seen the Marvel, right? We've seen her Draconic Ally, and it has a mechanic where when you reveal red cards, it deals arcane damage twice the amount of red cards revealed. So I thought of like good value red cards that will be good. Light Illusionist obviously won't work, so I wanted to put this as the first card just so people understood and didn't make the mistake when you're buying cards. Don't worry, this is not me like messing up what card I'm gonna suggest to people. Just remember that Light Illusionist for new players. I've noticed a lot of new players in my chat. I don't, or not chat, but my comments. I don't want y'all to get mixed up. You're not gonna be able to use Light Illusionist cards with Jeremiah because she's gonna be a Draconic Illusionist. I don't think she's gonna have the Light talent unless they're telling us something crazy. They haven't told us anything. It's gonna be crazy. She only is gonna be able to use Illusionist attacks from prior sets, right? So just keep that in mind. So cards like War-Tune Herald that look really good, it's a light Illusionist attack, and it's going to be for Prism and not for Jeremiah. So just keep that in mind as you're going through these cards. There is one you can use, and it's the first one I have. One out of two. One is Mirage Metamorph. I think Mirage Metamorph, it does have Phantasm, which who knows if Jeremiah is going to have anything to do with Phantasm. But it's a good value red, a 1 for 7. It's a really powerful card. It's already kind of a staple in Prism decks, and it's a red. So it's going to be, I think, a staple in Jeremiah as well. If her mechanic is based around red cards, then you could really see this being a really powerful and useful card, right? So that's for that. And then the next one is Fractal Replication, also a red. If she, from what the rumors are, she might be a little bit more controlly. But if you decide to have a little bit more of an aggro strategy, right, when you play or defend with Fractal Application, it gains the abilities of all Illusionist attack action cards in the combat chain. It might prove to be useful as well. But those are the two main cards. Again, just remember, like cards like War-Tune Herald or anything that's a light Illusionist attack, you can't use with Jeremiah, to our knowledge. So just make sure you don't make that mistake when you go and buy some cards. The next one is Ranger. The first Ranger card, I wanted to bring Ranger into it, even though it doesn't have there's not a new Ranger hero, she's going to be getting a lot of ice cards. And I think Lexi and Oldheim both are going to get really big buffs, just from the natural ice cards in the set, that freeze arsenals and that create more frostbites and stuff like that. The one card I wanted to mention was Cold Wave. I think Kano's still going to be a thing going in Uprising and really powerful. And I think Eastlander's going to be really powerful, and they both can play on your turn. So being able to fuse Cold Wave, which is a card that most people thought was just trash, it still might not be the greatest card in the world, but it's a 1 for 5. And if you fuse it, cards and activated abilities cost the hero an additional 1 mana this turn, and it's not even if it hits, it's just if you fuse it. So that means if you play this as your first attack with Go Again Awful Tear, and then you fuse it, they now, cannot, or it costs them an extra resource to play certain cards, which for against wizards is pretty good. So I think this card might have some play. Who knows? Frostlock's another one that does a similar thing, and that's already kind of a staple in most Lexi decks. So just keep an eye out for that. Next one's Fatigue Shot. I think this is going to be big for against Illusionist and against Five both, just being able to slow them down, and then also Oldheim because I think Oldheim's still going to have a place in the meta. So just keep an eye out for Fatigue Shot. Most people kind of know what this does, so I won't dwell on it. But I think Fatigue Shot's a card that you could look out for, considering it's still going to be popular. It's already popular in the meta. A card that is kind of out there, and some may agree or disagree, but I think Poison Tips is going to be good. It's just another card that's going to be like a discard mechanic, right? It's going to be like a Chilling Ice Fame, but you don't have to fuse. I think against heroes like Fi, who's going to be crazy aggro, and then you're going to have Briar still running around, and even Katsu. I think aggro is going to be a real problem in the meta. With Starvo leaving and with Chain leaving, the aggro meta is going to kind of go wide open, and this can really put a lot of pressure on them and force them to block. And it has a reload mechanic, so if you want to reload, like an ice card down your hand into your arsenal, flip it, all this stuff. So anything with reload helps you not to have to worry about your arsenal as much. So definitely Poison the Tips might be something to look at. And then finally, Seek and Destroy. I think Seek and Destroy is the biggest one that people aren't going to think about having, but it's going to be really good. Being able to destroy their arsenal is going to be really nice because there's already cards that have been revealed that are going to freeze arsenals, which basically means like you can't use it or move it or do anything with it. And that's going to be really useful against, not only aggro decks that want an arsenal and have 5-card hands, but if you give them enough frostbites and you freeze their arsenal, and then you play Seek and Destroy and they get hit, then their hand's pretty much dead, right? Like everything in their hand's going away. And I think Seek and Destroy will be really useful for that if you can generate a lot of frostbites and even freeze their arsenal. So definitely keep on the lookout for this card. And it's a +3 0 cost buff, right? So it's really good. For Ninja's hard. I think the reason Ninja was hard for me is because I think Fi is not going to have anything close to do with what Katsu does. I think he's going to have a completely different ability. I think combo cards are just going to be combo cards, right? I don't think combo is going to have anything to do with Fi's ability. So I think combo cards are just going to kind of be useless text other than maybe you'll draw them together and be able to use them together and stuff like that. But that's about it. So I tried to veer away from that and kind of give like unique choices that may or may not end up being useful. I put Flying Kick in here because, like I said in the last video, I think Fi's ability is going to be a lot of low the ground attacks, followed by some type of like mechanic where he can like summon an ally or do Ash tokens or something along the line to either buff an attack or summon a really powerful creature. So if he has the ability to like hit you with a bunch of little attacks and then build up to maybe pump up one big attack, Flying Kick might be an attack like that where if you attack like a bunch of little times and you build up some type of token or something that allows you to buff a certain attack, then you play Flying Kick at the end of a long chain and maybe you're attacking for like 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that, something crazy. So I think that might be useful. Same thing with Salt Wound, kind of the same reason. I think you might be able to buff this. Like if you're able to like do like 4 attacks and maybe that 3 of them hit and this is already at 5, and then you're able to like destroy Ash tokens to give it another +3 or +4, all of a sudden Salt the Wound's hitting for 8 or 9. I think that could be really useful. And it's a block 3, which is really nice. And Torrent Tempo. Basically, all 3 of these cards are for the same reason. I think if there's some mechanic with Fi where based off how many chain links you've hit, a certain attack gets buffed, I think all 3 of these could be really good for that. So just keep that in mind. We'll see what happens when we see Fi's ability. But yeah, so that's the end of it. This is kind of, it was just a quick video. I just kind of want to give my thoughts. Again, I didn't do Wizard. Wizard's really hard. All the blues are not all the blues, a lot of the blues. Just go look at an Eastlander list, kind of see what the staple blues are, and that's what I would pick up if you don't have them. There's no like one key card I would definitely get 100%. It really just depends on you and what you're doing. I think Energy Potion, right, is the one like non-wizard card that's gonna be really useful with Eastlander if you don't already have it, because even a lot of the new cards that have been revealed so far about like pay X and then create X plus whatever amount of frostbite tokens and then deal that much arcanes. Like if you have a couple epots in the field, when you do that, you're gonna be able to deal a lot of damage. I think it's called Frost Hex, I think it's Frost Hex, and then there's another one that's an ice card that's gonna be really useful, right? So it just depends on what you get. Yeah, it's I'm looking at it right now, guys. So yeah, Frost Hex reads frostbites you control at the beginning of your end phase deal 1 arcane damage to you. It's the Eastlander specialization and it costs 3. And then you have Ice Eternal, which is create X frostbite tokens under the hero's control. Then if Ice Eternal is fused, deal arcane damage to that hero equal to the number of frostbites they control. So it's XX, so it works like Sarnata mechanics, or like, so if you pitch for 6, it's going to create 3 frostbites, right? Um, so, if you have 2 epots on the field and you have 2 blues in hand, all of a sudden you're pitching for 10, you can create 5 frostbites and fuse it. And then with your third card, and then, all of a sudden you're dealing 5 arcane damage and you dealt 5 frostbites to them. Like, it's just pretty nuts. Definitely a card you can think about using. But yeah, I didn't do a whole lot with the Eastlander because a lot of her key cards are going to be the new cards, in my opinion. That's really going to take her over the top. But hopefully this made sense. Hopefully this was a good enough video. If y'all like this, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If not, go into our Fleshbug creator, do the same thing for them so we can get more people seeing this game. And I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.